After travelling for 12 hours, I reach my destination, a river junction up a tributary of the Amazon. As far as I can gather, this is the scene of the crime. And what's interesting is this is a very obvious meeting of the waters. You can see it so clearly because the two rivers that meet here are different colours. One is muddy white water, one is black water. According to the locals, large catfish wait in ambush at river junctions like this to predate on smaller fish travelling downriver. Because I'm after a pretty monstrous fish, I'm using monstrous tackle. I've got a huge forged steel hook on the end attached to a length of wire, and then I've got about 300 yards of very strong line. Okay. And this rod, you'd normally only see this on a boat out in the open ocean, the kind of thing you'd use to catch marlin, tuna, that kind of thing, but I'm using this stuff in fresh water. People only think of predatory fish living in the sea, but here I am about 1,000 miles from the ocean, staking out a crime scene to catch a man-eater. That's a fish on, that's a fish on. It's taking line. Taking line, taking... Feels pretty sizable. It'll be a little bit decisive and brutal now. Fish doesn't want to know though, doesn't want to know. Going down. Fish is coming up in the water, there it is. It's a joe, it's a good size. This fish is not the Paraiba I was hoping for, but the joe is a catfish, and some fishermen claim it can be just as dangerous as the larger Paraiba. But it's not finished. Doesn't like the side of the boat at all. It has a reputation for being so strong on the end of a line that some people will tell you that it has dragged fishermen down into the depths. This is about 80 pounds, 80, 90 pounds. It's a good sized fish. The hook hold looks good. We might even be able to land it on land. After 20 minutes of hard struggle, I have the better of it. Hey. And my goodness, feeling the strength of this thing. There we go. It looks a really sinister fish. That dark black colour, and it gets that from living down in the lightless zone, you know, deep in the rocky pools where it just blends in with the background. And particularly looking at it from here, just the shape of it, you know, it's a great big mouth, large head, very muscular midriff, and then just tapering off into this very chunky, powerful propulsion unit. Oh, wanting to go already. Look at that, wanting to go already. That's good. That's good. There it goes. Ooh. Quite a fish. The mighty Corentin River is 450 miles long and Suriname's largest. For most of its length, it is completely uninhabited and rarely explored. The river is punctuated by frequent crushing rapids and deep, turbulent pools. There are vast granite boulders everywhere, some just under the water, others creating waterfalls. There are so many different fishing holes that I take every opportunity to get a bait or lure in the river, to cover as much water as I can. Different types of fish prefer different parts of the river. Having never hunted for wolfish here, I need to explore every likely fishing spot to see if I can discover the monster's lair. Suddenly, I'm getting action every cast. When you get these things in, they are just so well hooked, and yet sometimes you hook one and somehow it just manages to get rid of the hooks. That was quite dramatic though, short but very, very dramatic. That's one on, that's one on. Let's see if I can keep this one on. But is this a wolffish? Haven't seen the fish yet. That is a piranha in the back. Foul hooked always feels bigger. Monster piranha. That is black in colour. Just by looking at one, you can understand the piranha's reputation. But I'm comparing wolffish with piranhas one against one, and having now seen the piranhas they have to compete with, I'm even more wary about meeting a wolffish. Although I know there are piranhas around, I need to cover as much water as possible, even if it means wading. As a rule, I want to get a fish in as quickly as possible. Yep, good sized fish. This ensures that when I release it, it still has plenty of energy, so it can recover more quickly. But this is not a wolffish. It's called a peacock bass. Lovely fish, that. And the reason it's called a peacock bass, in English anyway, is that eye spot on the tail. And if they're lying in the water with their heads down like that, that really does look like an eye, and any predatory bird could easily mistake that for an eye. It really is very effective when this is underwater. Big mouth, predatory, cichlid this, but lovely fish. I don't want to have it out too long. I'll just admire it for a minute or two. Because I'm after something with a taste for flesh, I'm going to fish with the bloodiest bait I know. This being cattle country, this is a bit of cow's heart, nice and bloody, very fleshy, and, well, that should get the attention of any carnivores down there. That's a fish on. Yeah. What I'm doing, I'm just riding close to some branches here. It's a very strong fish in this current. Okay, here we go. What's that? The fish that took the cow heart bait is one I've never caught before, a boga. Here we go, this fish, definitely carnivorous. Looks a bit carp-like. But this fish has what carp don't have. Oh, there's teeth in here. Just having a close look at those teeth. Its scientific name, Leporinus, describes its rabbit-like teeth, but this is not the hardware of a friendly vegetarian. I've heard bogas can grow bigger than this, but even so, its mouth is not nearly wide enough to bite my finger. Although it's quite strange to see teeth in a fish like this, I don't think this is responsible. In fact, I'm certain of it. In Guyanese culture, some creatures are believed to have spiritual powers.
Over here, Johnny. And one ant nest here.
Oh my gosh, lots of them.
Yeah, they come up in the night to feed.
These ants aggressively guard their burrows and have incredibly powerful jaws.
So our belief is that we allow them to bite our hands here so that we could get a lot of bite from the fish.
Right.
Go ahead then.
So just push down lightly, sort of thing, is it? Aha! I felt that. As a stab. Right, that's quite a sharp pain when they bite you. It's a bit like someone sticking a needle in your finger. The pain does go fairly quickly, but the ants are still there, sort of embedded in your skin. Why do I go along with something like this? Well, I'm not immune to having fishermen's superstitions. And actually, what possible logical link can there be between doing this and catching fish? But very often it is to do with your state of mind. If you're confident for whatever reason, you're likely to fish more effectively. I certainly feel like I've paid some kind of price. What I need now is to actually collect the payoff. That would be nice. I've heard all these stories about piranhas being capable of skeletonizing bodies literally within moments or minutes. I've got this freshly killed duck here from the market, and I think it's time to put those stories to the test. It's apparent that the sound, the thrashing of a distressed animal is what attracts them, so I'm just a little bit of movement to start them homing in. Right, they're in there already. I just saw a flash of silver with that, very distinctive red as well. Right, they're starting to arrive now. Once one finds it, basically, you know, that just kicks the whole thing off. Right, look at that, go in the head there. They've already just stripped all the flesh from the spine. Flip this in and have a look. Oh, right. From the back, this didn't look too bad, but actually flip it over the side where the fish were, and they've made a real mess of that. They've actually chewed through a huge expanse of feather to get at the meat, and they've gone right into the body cavity. They've taken most of the meat away. There's a huge section of actually the backbone gone in the neck. The head is just reduced to bone, both eyes are gone, and all this just in a matter of minutes. Maybe here I'll catch my man-eating Paraiba. Head down, head down, head down, head down, head down. Ah! Fish on.
Could this be the river monster I'm after? But who'll win this battle? Me or the fish?
It's a good sized fish. I haven't seen it yet. Look at that! That is actually not the fish I want. That is a huge red-tailed catfish. I want the white, streamlined, shark-like Paraiba, but this thing, my goodness, this is a good size. This is a very good size. There we go. I mean, these things don't get caught much bigger than this, so I'm going to weigh it. Can you read that? Right, this is 80 pounds, this one. 80 pounds. It's very, very big for a red-tailed catfish. Not an easy fish to lift.
Now that this fish is in the boat, it is pumping air, not water, over its gills, creating these strange sounds.
That is a big old catfish, and it's getting me in training for the Paraiba. The only thing is, too many more experiences like this one, and I just won't have any energy for a fish that's bigger than this. And I mean, this thing is just a huge head, huge bony head, tapering off into this leathery body, and a great big wide mouth there. Without any teeth as such, but it's got real good grasping pads.
Early the next morning, the boatman, Tulio, agrees to take me out into the remote Caiman-infested channels. This vast wetland, almost twice the size of the Everglades, is known as the Esteros del Iberá. I've travelled 500 miles on the hunt for the river tiger, and the waters I find here are not what I expected. The indigenous Indian name, Iberá, means bright water.
It's amazingly clear, but unfortunately what that means is that anything living there is going to see me before I see it.
Tulio tells me the only way to outsmart the river tiger here is to fly fish, casting a fish-like streamer lure from a distance on a virtually invisible leader.
I'm giving it life by stripping the line in with my hand so it shoots forward in little darts. So it's mimicking a small fish, and anything that is carnivorous down there might be tempted by that.
I just hope these waters in the forsaken heart of the marshes are warm enough for the river tiger to be hunting.
Yeah. It's the right colour for what I'm after.
All I have to do now is get a close look at its teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can see stripes. I can see stripes. So I think this is it.
My guide Tulio confirms this is the river tiger, also known here as the piraju. But I know this fish as the golden Dorado, a creature I've only seen a couple of times before.
It's just like a living bar of gold.
So gold, they named it twice. Dorado is also the Spanish word for golden, as in the fabled city of El Dorado. This muscle-packed beast is a vigorous fighter and isn't taken easily. Its stamina on the line is legendary. And beneath its glittering gill plates, the hefty jaw muscles that are the source of its phenomenal biting power.
Right, I don't want to get too close, but that definitely has teeth there. And I'm thinking particularly if you get near the angle of that jaw, it's going to be a bit like a bolt cutter.
The saw-like rows of teeth are partially concealed by flesh, but when pressure's applied, they sink in deep. I've heard Dorado can grow to around 70 pounds. I can scarcely imagine the damage a big one might inflict.
But no sooner have I cast into the water when my fishing guide Flavio spots a truly graphic example of over-ambitious Amazon predation.
Oh, loco!
Something that immediately reminds me of the man half swallowed by a fish. We've just seen this Payara floating down the river, quite a big one, still alive. We thought it was dead to start with. On investigation, it's got another one down its throat, and Flavio's just grabbing hold of the tail of it and pulling it out. Here we go. Look at that, here's the tail of another fish.
Again for me.
So this fish almost choked to death on something just, too big to swallow, really. If we can get the other fish out, it might survive, but as it is... Good grief! Size of that, look at that! Just look at the... Good grief! Look at the size of the fish that other fish swallowed. So that's the meal, the one that's looking slightly worse for wear. And this is the greedy one that swallowed it, which might now recover. This remarkable act of cannibalism is just as ambitious as the catfish that tried to swallow a man. Maybe in these murky waters, accidentally biting off more than you can chew is a common occurrence.
Oh, loco!
If I ate something that big in relation to me, it would be about the size of a small child or a medium-sized child, sort of an 8-year-old, just, ooh. So far I've been catching a variety of fish, but what I'm going to do now is specifically target piranhas. So I'm going to start off, I think, using an artificial bait, something which mimics a small fish and that sort of calls attention to itself in the water. And because anything that goes for that is likely to have teeth, then I've got about 10 inches of wire on the end there. Otherwise they just bite through the line.
My location is a half-built, abandoned hydroelectric dam.
There's a really nice slack on the edge of the rapid here. Classic predator ambush territory. Lots of white marks all over the rocks here, so the cormorants have been finding fish. I think it all looks pretty good.
But before I start fishing, something unusual catches my eye. Hundreds of tiny fish are making their way over the man-made rapids.
This is water that would just sweep me away. And here you've got these creatures mostly about an inch long, some of them are 2 or 3 inches, making their way up against the current.
A bite-sized snack for any piranha.
Right, that's some of the easiest fishing I've had for a little while. Oh, ah! I just saw a flash, something going for it. Hey, that's a fish. That's a red piranha. Not going to take any chances. I don't want my fingers too close to the teeth.
But nothing can prepare you for the unexpected.
Ow! but I've just impaled myself on a treble there. That hook has gone right in my thumb. I've got to deal with that.
As the red-bellied piranha struggles, the hook digs deeper into my thumb.
It's the first time I've actually done that, but I have seen it happen to somebody else, and we had to give them half a bottle of whiskey and then hold him down on a table to pull it out.
I can't pull the hook straight out because the backwards-facing barb is dug right into my flesh.
Can you just hold the lure like that, where my fingers are?
While the soundman takes the weight of the fish off my thumb, I get to work with some pliers.
That hurt. I'm just letting that bleed because there's probably fish slime and all sorts in the wound.
Oh, I just trod on a fish.
Right.
Esse fundura todo canto, né? Eu vou para lá.
Vai levanta
De
lá.
costa. This is this is a bit like a boxing ring. It's about the same size. There's 35 fish in here, nearly as big as I am.
Lá vai o arrastão, mete nessa posição.
Bom, melhor assim.
Vai levando para lá, vai levando para lá.
Okay.
Vai levando
Taking the
pra
net
lá.
up.
It's a simple matter of netting one, but this is exactly what I was doing when I took the full force of an Arapaima headbutt to the chest. And I have been warned that these fish are particularly violent when cornered.
Frente,
De frente é melhor.
é?
Bota o pé direito no churro.
I'm walking forward, which means all the vulnerable bits of my body, you know, a boxer would be covering them up.
Tá beleza, tá beleza.
Okay,
tá
that's
beleza.
going well.
Vai começar a pular.
Right, they're going to start jumping any minute, he's saying. Any minute they're going to start jumping.
Opa, furou, Zé. Afrouxa, afrouxa.
Okay, we didn't get one. We're going to have to go through the whole thing again.
Knowing what's coming makes the second attempt even more daunting.
Ele tá com medo.
I'm afraid. Jeremy is afraid, he's saying. I think that is fairly clear to see. Right, he's saying they might be a bit tired this time, so they might...
There's no doubt that when cornered or trapped by nets, the Arapaima becomes a formidable force of nature. With the help of these Arapaima farmers, I'm finally holding one of these incredible fish in my arms.
Look at that.
My fear has been replaced with a new respect.
A boca do Zezão. Vamos levantar.
Vamos levantar, we're going to lift it up.
Maybe I'm now ready to face an Arapaima on my own.
Muito bonito. Agora solta a cabeça.
Oh, now we're going to let the head go. We're going to let the head go. This is the... They wanted one to eat, that one was too big. They want to get a smaller one. I think I'm just going to leave them to it.
A little bit of activity. Can I entice them onto this this brightly coloured lump of plastic?
Yeah. You see that? Follow it.
And if I can, will I be able to set the hook in the rock-hard jaw? But in a heartbeat, something's changed. The fish just stop responding to my lure down below. But I spot something moving on the surface.
It's a catfish, or, well, it's half a catfish. There we are, still alive. It's been severed, and you can see something chopped there, something chopped there.
I'm looking for a creature that can inflict a shear-like laceration, an amputation by guillotine, and I think I've found the evidence I need.
I'm just mentally comparing that to a certain part of the human anatomy. This has actually got a bone down the middle. It's got a vertebral column. It's severed through that. Fish on.
With every leap, its virtually impenetrable jaws threaten to throw my hook.
Yes!
With a head like a pit bull, this massive beast weighs in at more than 40 pounds.
This is it. This is a serious size fish. Just look at that head and look at the teeth and the size of the jaw muscles that are going to be inside that gill flap there. A bit like bolt cutters, really, those jaws, particularly near the angle. Tremendous power.
I've opened the jaws of much bigger fish without a second thought, but there's no way I'm going to try and manipulate this slippery monster's mouth.
It's actually making me think of a spring-loaded man trap. It's not so much the size or sharpness of the teeth. It's the sheer force that you've got operating on these jaws.
And if you're in any doubt, you only have to call to mind the catfish sliced in half.
Any part of human anatomy that gets in those jaws, once you're in it, you're not going to get out. Puerto Nariño is just a short journey upriver, but it's a world away from Leticia. It's cut off from the rest of the country and only accessible by river. Landing a killer ray without being stabbed is hard enough. But catching one in the dark on an isolated riverbank in the most dangerous country in South America is almost insane. This is potentially ray-like. It's almost as if there's still tension on the line. It stopped going out, but there's still tension, and there's maybe a slight sort of chewing sensation. But I'd expect it to move again in a bit. There we go. Yeah, it is a ray. It's definitely a ray. I recognize the dramatic markings. It's a deadly Motoro stingray. Motoros aren't giants, but this one's a perfect size for my experiment. Right, now it's one thing seeing that spine flailing around. I want to see what happens when that makes contact with something, with flesh. I've actually brought along a pig's leg. Very, very similar tissue to a human, so let's just see what happens to this. That went right in the whole length of the spine, and then it seemed to almost put its body weight behind it and really push it in. It went right up to the hilt of the spine. I'm surprised by this. I thought a strike would be more haphazard. The ray appears to line up on its target like a marksman, aiming above the point where the pressure is applied to its body before thrusting its spine deep into the tissue with every ounce of its power. As the tail retracts, more than 100 backward-facing barbs tear through flesh like a hunting knife. After the strike, the ray's instinct is to flee. I repeat the test, and this time, something remarkable happens. That hasn't come out. That is still attached. That's still attached. It's the proof I was looking for. A ray's spine can stay embedded in its victim. There's obviously a certain random element here. If it goes in a certain place, it's going to come out. If it goes in another place, it's going to come out. Once in a while, though, it's going to get stuck on something, stuck on a bit of tissue, and it's not going to come out.
Something down there.
Just grab the bait, bent the rod, and then let go. That is a fish on. I think it's coming towards me. What I don't want is the hook to come out like it has been doing. Feels strange. There are people who hook these fish and they're literally on for hours, and it gets dark and they give up and they cut the line.
I've come far too far to give up, so even though my muscles are aching, I carry on.
There's a very fast sort of pulsing to it. It's not a throb, 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 throb. This is a big fish. I can only bully to a certain extent. Strong, strong, strong fish, strong fish, strong fish. Ah!
After a struggle of nearly half an hour, I have the better of it.
There it is, that's the fish, there's the fish, there's the fish. Paraiba, it's a Paraiba. Ah! Here we go. This is the one I wanted. This is the Paraiba, the real monster of the Amazon. Fish is growling at me. Oh, big old mouth on there. Heavy, heavy fish. I can hardly hold this up. My arms are pretty shot anyway. No, I can feel the fish flexing. It's about to kick. Whoa. Oops. And this is the one that people say, when it gets big enough, it goes after people as well. Looks a bit like a shark and it has a reputation to match. This is a big one, but they do go bigger. They do go bigger. This one, I don't know, possibly about 80 pounds. I mean, you know, this is a man-sized fish, but they go bigger than man-size. They go a size big enough to swallow a man. And a streamlined fish, smooth skin, no scales, but it's a very streamlined catfish. Most catfish are pretty slobby. They mope around on muddy bottoms, but this is a fish of fairly fast current, and I can just feel that muscle flexing. That's a lovely, lovely result. And am I tired? Am I tired? What I've got to do, though, is remember that the fish is as tired as I am. So, although I want to admire it out of the water, I've got to get it back and think of the fish's recovery as well. Oh. Oh. Okay. 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 Ah. Ah. Oh.
I've heard a tale of a killer caiman in these waters, so I head out after dark to see if I can find it. But it seems like I'm the one being watched. There are eyes following my every move.
I'm out at night hunting caiman. There's one in these waters apparently that is absolutely man-eating size. They say it is close to 20 foot.
Caiman's eyes reflect my flashlight, making them easy to spot.
Oh, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one.
Maybe I can grab a small one to have a closer look.
Too fast, too fast. Yes! Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. That's a caiman. Just having a close look at this animal here, I can really now understand why this is one of the most feared creatures in the Amazon. Just imagine this thing scaled up. I mean, those teeth, that sort of armor-plated body, yeah, it is just the perfect design for taking out just anything else that lives in this river. It may be nothing to worry about, this black cloud here, because the weather in the tropics, it can be very localized. You can see a storm over in one direction. Maybe it comes your way, you get wet, maybe it goes somewhere else.
But it seems to have passed us by, or so I think. With nothing for the pot, Salamone takes me on a detour to catch some fish for dinner.
I think this could be our spot here. So off the rocks, there's going to be a nice slack with eddies happening on the other side.
But out on this exposed island, in the middle of the river. We are about to discover just how changeable and dangerous conditions are in the rainforest.
This is a classic example of pure fishing in a way. It's starting with absolutely nothing, just coming down with a couple of rods, no bait, and just poking around in these cracks to find crabs, and then a crab is pulled into pieces, and that's where we start from. And hopefully we turn that.
Me, should I take this off?
I would. Yeah? That lightning strike was right on top of us. Salamone was standing in the water. He actually felt a shock. He got a shot through the water. Abandoning. We're getting in the boat and we're going.
Let's go.
I thought we'd all escaped that lightning strike. The soundman on my crew didn't.
Our sound recorder has been hit, was actually struck on the head by that bolt of lightning. Chris, are you okay? Are you responding?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Right, we might need some first aid here. Let's go.
Quick.
How are you feeling?
Good, it just hit the top of my head.
Right. We're moving away from the storm now, so that's good.
Just a very big headache
Right.
and a pain on
Right.
the hip. But I think my boots took a lot of it.
Well, you rubber soles, good. I've got a bit of a headache. James, who's behind the camera at the moment, has got a headache. I think it might have actually hit all three of us. Chris definitely got the brunt of it. I mean, very, very lucky for him. He was actually wearing thick rubber sole boots, so he's conscious, which is a huge relief. Right, we're arriving at the back at the camp.
I suspect that the lightning bolt actually struck very close to where we were all standing. We all felt the effects of the strike, but Chris was obviously the closest. The remoteness of our location is now even more apparent. But thankfully, Chris's condition continues to improve, and within 12 hours he is once more back on his feet and eager to get me fishing again.
And it's full of river monsters.
And that's a fish on. Oh, there it is, jumping out of the water. That's quite strong, that's a strong fish.
I've hooked a predatory fish with dental hardware straight out of a horror movie.
So this is a Payara. It's a relative of the Piranha. It's an arms war down there. Everything's got teeth, everything is eating everything else. And they've actually got those fangs there in the lower jaw, and they use those to puncture the swim bladder of the prey. So it just messes up the buoyancy. The small fish is then totally out of control. It's flopping around near the surface, and these will just come along afterwards and mop them up. And those fangs are that big that it has to have special holes in the upper jaw, otherwise it wouldn't be able to get its mouth closed.
Unlike me, this local fisherman has had a successful night.
Corvina, they call these. There's some catfish as well. That is a strange looking thing. That's really strange. This fish here is called a mata Caiman, which means it kills a caiman. If a caiman tries to swallow that, it erects its fins, and these things will just pierce the inside of the caiman's mouth. Here we go.
Finally, a strong take. It's a wolfish, the monster I've spent the past 3 weeks trying to catch.
Here we go.
And it's a big one.
Over she comes. Ah. But fantastic, here we go. That's a result, that's lovely. So here we are, this is the wolfish. And the stories I've heard about these, absolutely fearless. Anything comes near them, dogs, people, they'll go for it. So it looks quite gap-toothed, but actually pull those lips back and you see they're very spiky fangs underneath there. The other thing about it is the fishing is just unlike anything I've done before. It's real guerrilla, close quarters, hand-to-hand combat almost. Most fishing, you're being quite stealthy. You're creeping up, you're putting the bait in the water quietly. Payara are very inquisitive. They lie in shallow water, and if they hear a sound, rather than head in the opposite direction, they actually come and investigate. That's a Payara. Those teeth are probably almost as vicious as the piranhas. There's a bit gap-toothed, but those teeth are very sharp. That's a start towards getting some bait.
Unlike electric eels, Payara are proving incredibly easy to catch.
They're also very slippery. It's like a bar of soap with teeth. Oh!
Progress stops when my hook gets caught on an underwater branch. I'm not prepared for what I find at the end of my snagged line. I leap out of the water because I think I've just stumbled across one of these deadly creatures.
Here. Here.
But it's a case of mistaken identity.
It's actually not an electric eel, that is an eel.
This is a musum. It may look like a true eel, but it is in fact another elongated fish.
For a moment there, I was worried. I saw this long snake-like thing on the line, and I wasn't hanging around to have a closer look. I was out of the water. If this was an electric eel this size, that could be potentially fatal. Strange sort of admission to make. I'm actually glad that wasn't the fish that I was after. Oh, that's a ray. That's a ray. That's going. That is going. That is going. It's running.
Finally, I'm hooked into what feels like a big ray. Now, I just have to land it. The minutes pass and day turns into night.
Right, the thing with stingrays is you think they're snagged. The line is completely dead, and then it just moves again. Now, this is just pulling me. A stingray is not a fish that I like to handle very much. It's also sometimes a fish I don't like to hook because you get into a big one and it's a long time and it's very tiring.
I've been locked into giant rays in the past, but never on such a small boat or in the dark. I know this ray is bigger than any I've caught so far in Colombia, but once it's stuck to the riverbed, it's difficult to know what size I'm really dealing with. But to nail my theory 100%, I need a ray big enough to drag an adult to the bottom.
The fish has got too much leverage.
Realization dawns on me that I can't shift the ray from here. So we have to cast off from our mooring to change my angle of attack. But now there's more strain on both me and the rod.
Got the butt of this rod in my stomach. It's really starting to hurt.
Having come so far, having fought so hard, a broken rod and a lost ray are my worst nightmare. But in this titanic struggle, something has to give.
Right, it's coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up. Have I got line still? Yes, I've got line.
The rod snapped, but the line didn't.
It's now hand to hand.
Now I've got real problems.
This is going to be very interesting now.
I don't know how big this ray is, but in an instant, this struggle has become infinitely more dangerous.
I've got to be careful also that I don't get my hand caught in this line.
At any moment, a loop in my line could turn into a deadly noose.
The line's not going to break. I could go over the side.
I've no plans to be dragged to the bottom like Leo's brother or the honeymoon bride.
Right, slowly coming up, slowly coming up.
I see the end of my broken rod. The fish can't be far behind.
If this fish was attached to my leg, you know, if this had its barb caught on my foot, I would be able to do nothing at all. Any normal fish in this situation, no problem at all, I just grab it. The thing about this fish is I try and grab it, it perceives that as even more of an insult, more of an attack. And somewhere down here, there is a very nasty spine, and I don't want that going anywhere near me. Here it is. I really thought I wasn't going to get this in. I was using a 150-pound main line, braid, 100-pound nylon, and then 150-pound Kevlar. And this thing, when it took, it just went. If I didn't have a drag on my reel, I would have been in the water. On a rod and line, you get a real sense of the power. And this thing here, well, if those spines, and there's two of them there, if they went in your leg and came out, that would be very bad news. But if they didn't come out and remained attached, that would be even worse. If this thing decided to go and it decided to head off for the deep water and you're attached, there's nothing, absolutely nothing you could do about it. Is a fish? This is a large fish.
I'm feeling massively undergunned. All I have to pull in this giant is a thin rod and a wobbly canoe.
That's the fish there.
I'm trying to stop the fish coming to the surface. If it jumps, it could spit out the hook. But it seems the fish is calling the shots.
Heavy fish. Rod in a painful curve.
As the fish comes closer, the danger becomes very real. If it jumps in our direction, the results could be deadly.
It's coming up. It's going to jump.
This is a lot bigger than any Arapaima I've caught before. I need to get it into the shallows.
In a bit more, please.
This fish weighs at least 250 pounds.
Keep holding, because I'm... Look at this! Arapaima on a fly. This thing... It's actually, I was going to say, it's built like a missile. This is a tired fish, believe it or not. Two of us can hardly restrain it. It is just, doesn't it look like a missile? Long, streamlined body. I'm thinking about 3 times the size of the one that hit me. Sent me flying, left me in pain for over a month. This thing came flying at you. Hit you in the right place, shall we say the wrong place. You wouldn't know about it. Just a final flashing, fleeting moment and then lights out for good. I think that's a strong fish.
My best option is to travel east to where the rains haven't yet hit. I find out that a dog was shocked just an hour ago in a nearby pond. This could be my chance to see an electric eel in the wild.
There's one here.
I'm too late. People from the village have killed it. I mean, it's never nice to see an animal that's been killed. This one's got a machete cut halfway through its body. It's amazing that such a small volume of water could harbour a lethal electric eel 6 feet long. So the dog was shocked somewhere down the far end, and apparently it was sort of struggling, swimming up towards this end, and there was a lad here who was able to pull it out of the water. Then, went and got help, and basically, they wanted this thing out of here. Although it's a bit disturbing, you can understand why they want to do this. This animal can kill you, so best to take no chances and kill it before it kills you. Sorry, they're just saying there's another one in there, and in fact, I thought I saw other ripples myself of a big animal. They want to make sure this water is empty of electric eels. So they start to drain the pond by hand. It's interesting, a lot of the places where I go, where people live next to dangerous fish, they have a sort of an attitude of coexistence. They don't have the idea that they've got to go out and try and kill them all. This is an animal they are very afraid of, and they just don't want them here. If there's any chance of getting rid of them, they will do what they can to get rid of them. As the water level gets lower, the tension starts to rise. The eel is now in only a few inches of water, but it's still proving elusive. I've been hearing that you can get very large animals living in small amounts of water, and this is a very small bit of water. So, although this time I was too late, I think this is the kind of place possibly where I'm going to find an eel for myself still alive. They're so desperate to get rid of it that they risk getting electrocuted themselves. Right, he thinks there's actually one down here. He got a bit of a shock poking the machete down into this hole here. When the electric eel finally reveals itself, it's killed without any hesitation. This time, it's only 4 foot long. It's no surprise that I've had such a hard time finding an electric eel. It's taken 20 people a couple of hours to find just one in here. There we go, it's the first nibble, the first nibble, the first nibble. And there they are, they're all piling in. Once the first one started, there we go, they're all over it now. Piranhas react to the sound and movement of another piranha feeding, attracting them to the scene and inciting a feeding frenzy. As soon as one piranha takes a bite, it moves away, allowing a fast turnover of feeders and a rapid succession of bites. It's no wonder they are known for stripping their food to the bone in just minutes. There we go, meat definitely works. I just wonder now how they might react to something that's alive. These piranhas were tearing into a piece of dead meat just a couple of minutes ago, but they're just not interested in me. So what is it that turns piranhas into vicious, murderous killers? That is what I want to try and find out. To be sure of my theory, I need to bring up a beast that's clearly capable of engulfing a limb. I have to attempt one more catch with what's left of my tackle. I might be about to get more than I bargained for.
It's a good sized fish. Let's keep well clear of the line.
The beast isn't a heavyweight redtail, but a 100-pound plus Paraiba. This goes to show that these pristine waters aren't patrolled by just one type of giant predatory catfish, but two, and both were found at Óbidos. But there's a problem. The hook has been taken deep inside the mouth, and I need to take it out.
I'm going to shove my hand in to get the hook out. It's going to give me a bite. It's bitten my arm.
But this extreme opportunity to feel the bite of a big catfish gives me the last piece of evidence I need. Paraiba are in the same family as redtails, and they have virtually identical rasping pads in their mouths. These give them a grip that prevents slippery, struggling prey from escaping. A grip far superior to human hands. Escaping the afternoon sun, I head back to camp, but on the way spot two of my guides on a sandbar. They have made an unusual discovery.
I found it in a ladysmith.
And this beast here, this is, in its own right, it's a bit of a river monster, this river turtle. This is only a medium-sized one. It's an air breather, it lives practically all its life under the water. Not that common to see these. They come up, they just poke their nose to the surface and then go down again. So it's quite nice to see one out in the open. But I must be extremely careful. I know from previous experience that turtles can take you by surprise. The last thing I want is to lose my fingers to those powerful jaws. Can I feel how heavy it is?
Yes.
Is that all right? So is it, if I come around here?
Yeah.
Okay.
The safest place to get a secure grip is on the shell behind the head.
That's a heavy animal. That's heavy. Oh, I don't know what that is. That's a good, I don't know, 60 pounds or something. Oh. Not doing my back much good. I'm going to put it back down. It might kick off once it hits the ground. This animal is actually very eager to get back in the water. It's very powerful limbs. Those clawed hands, you know, it's almost a bit like a tank, this thing. One reason we want to get this back is because it's actually eaten throughout the Amazon. It's considered a delicacy. People who spend all their time feeding on fish, this makes a very welcome change. Okay, it's pretty hard to get into, but it's very sought after meat. So we'll put this back in the water where it's going to be safe. You can actually go now. I'm going to pop around the other side. Go on in. That's impressive, how they can go from being immobile to that sudden burst of speed.
If piranhas group together because of their mortal fear of another river monster, then this is a creature I need to meet.
What else could be down there that could be even fiercer, even more carnivorous than the flesh-eating piranha?
Piranhas may enjoy a reputation as evil killers, but here in the Amazon, they are far from the top of the food chain. This river is a supremely predatory environment. And I'm told that there are wild river monsters that come here to be fed by locals. These creatures are highly adapted killers and greatly feared by the piranhas. And once again, I'm the guinea pig that is entering the water to meet them.
Dolphins. Who'd have thought it? 1,000 miles from the ocean, right up the Amazon River, freshwater dolphins. And these guys, I mean, they're having fun now, but my goodness, they've also got a dark side. I'm in the middle of a frenzy. That one got my thumb. That one got my thumb. Oh dear. Hey! And these are the guys that take out piranhas. A little bit eager. The jaw, very, very long and elongated, full of teeth, just perfect for grabbing fish. Wow! They've also got this really strange bulging head, and that's actually an echolocation organ. A lot of these waters in the Amazon are very murky, and they can't see their prey, but even in that situation, they can find and kill their prey. Oh! Using sonar. Oh. You know, you've got to be very, very careful tangling with these creatures. Time for me to get out, I think.
While asking around about any recent caiman sightings, I'm told fishermen recently lassoed a giant. It's now being held as a research facility, which might give me the access I need to test whether caimans could cause so much carnage in one night.
So it was captured in an area where people live, where people get in the water, they wash their clothes and whatever. It's a big animal. It's about 13.5 foot long. It's over 500 pounds in weight. When they got it here, they discovered that it was actually blind in one eye. This is probably why the fisherman was able to lasso it. It's going to stay here for a little while, and then it's going to be released. It's going to be released in a reserve where it's not going to come and bother people on the waterfront.
There's no doubt caimans attack humans, but how would they account for the huge number of missing passengers? Either there was a massive number of caimans at Óbidos that night, or each predatory reptile was taking down one passenger after another. To test the multiple victim theory, I'm under the supervision of a reptile vet, and I'm scaling up my line and bait, big time, to trigger a first strike. Now I have its undivided attention.
I'm just trying to see how motivated it is to hang on to that meal.
I've used pig as bait, as I'm told its flesh tastes very similar to human.
I don't think that's a grip that's very easily broken.
This beast's instinct is to hold on to its prey at all costs. Why would they risk losing a catch by attacking multiple people in a matter of minutes? Time to cut and run and find out about the other theory. In a river as vast as the Amazon, could there have been hundreds of caimans in the area when the boat went down? Anselmo da Fonseca has studied their populations in the wild.
Óbidos é que a área mais estreita do Rio Amazonas.
He said the thing about Óbidos is that the river there is, by Amazonian standards, it's narrow, there's a strong current, and this isn't the preferred habitat of caiman.
After asking around, I get a promising lead about a tiny pool right in the middle of cattle pasture. It's more like a mud puddle. The last place I'd expect to find a river monster. Finally, after 10 days of searching, a giant electric eel is right in front of me.
Does that look like just one of these branches, one of these roots? That is an electric eel. It's a big one.
Now I've got to work up the nerve to catch it.
I'm just making a bit of a trench. From my point of view, it'll be easier to handle if there's some kind of sort of notch that it's in rather than it's being able to slip and slide all over the place.
My normal capture method would be useless in water this shallow, so out goes the rod and in comes a lasso, fitting for cowboy country. Because electric eels don't rely on physical strength, pulling it out of the water shouldn't be that hard.
but not getting shocked will be. So protective clothing is essential. We've got a plan. The plan is not so much to sort of go after the head with the noose, but to position that and then get it to go through the noose. Just taking a few deep breaths because one slip and it could be very nasty indeed. Need to be so focused and so careful about this. An eel this size can deliver a shock of 650 volts. That's enough to stop my heart in seconds.
First go, amazing, first go.
Electric eels can keep on shocking out of water, but the rubber gloves we're wearing protect us from this.
Oh, look at the colours on this thing. These are wonderful. I've got to give it a clean. That is, it's doing a sort of, it looks like a muscle contraction, spasm almost. That's when it's actually shocking.
Because electric eels get most of their oxygen from breathing air, they can stay out of water for long periods of time.
That's 5'10.5". That's pretty much exactly the same as me.
This is exactly the same size as the eel that killed Francisco, the 21-year-old man who died in the tiny pond near Villanova. If I wasn't wearing these rubber gloves, I could be dead too. It's over 100 degrees and I don't want the fish to overheat, so time it went back in the water. The pond may be shallow at the moment, but the rains are not far behind me. The waters will soon rise, giving this eel the freedom to roam once again.
My search led me to this tiny drying out puddle. I mean, the water in there is barely 6 inches deep. It's the last place you'd expect to find a river monster, but that's where it was. There's more, there's more, there's more. There's not just this big one. There's, again, it looks like wood, but it started moving. We were watching it, and it looks like there's actually several, but smaller, right in with these roots here. I've just never seen anything like this before. It's like a tangle of bodies. I'm just trying to count the heads. The more I look, the more I see. I was thinking 10 or a dozen. I think there could be 20 down there.
They're coming right in close. The thing about these fish, these are not fish that people feed, these are wild fish, so they are hungry.